Welcome to the ET Considers Everything Sports Show for Monday, November 5th, 2018. On this edition, we'll be taking a look back at the weekend in high school, college, and NFL action. We'll also be taking a look back at the Crown Jewel WWE pay-per-view event that took place this past Friday in Saudi Arabia. Although it's very controversial and a lot of people might not want to look at it, it's still very implemental to what's going to take place coming up at Survivor Series on November the 18th, which is the real big pay-per-view that we're all looking forward to. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look back at the high school football action from last weekend. Last weekend was the final weekend of high school football action in Southwest Virginia for the regular season as they prepare for week one of the playoffs this upcoming week, and a lot of action took place, so let's take a look at the scores. Abingdon defeated Lehigh by a final score of 26-8. Appomattox defeated Alta Vista 52-0. Fort Chiswell defeated Bland County 29-8. James River defeated Carroll County 35-0. We had Eastside defeating Castlewood 28-8. Central defeating Grundy 28-27. We had Chilhowie defeating Holston 52-0. We had George Wythe defeating Royal Retreat 41-34. We had Radford upsetting Glenver 17-7. Graham defeating Marion 25-12. We had Gretna defeating Dan River 35-0. We had Galax defeating Grayson County 34-16. Ridgeview defeating Honaker 58-13. Hurley defeating Twin Valley 12-6. We had J.I. Burton defeating Thomas Walker 42-0. We had Virginia High Richlands defeating Virginia High 17-14. Union defeating John Battle 12-0. Lebanon defeating Tazewell 28-12. Patrick Henry of Glade Spring defeating Northwood 43-0. We had Richlands defeating Virginia High 17-14 in overtime, as I mentioned earlier. Ryco defeating Twin Springs last week 21-8. We had Salem defeating Pulaski County 21-10, and Blacksburg defeating Christiansburg by a final score 35-0. Blacksburg goes undefeated for the regular season, as does Chilhowie. They will be the top seeds respectively in the Region 1D playoffs for Chilhowie and the Region 3C playoffs for the Blacksburg Bruins. So definitely a lot's on the line coming up in high school football action here in Southwest Virginia. Of course, week one of the playoffs gets underway this week. I'll break down all the matchups for Southwest Virginia in Region 1D and 2D here in just a moment. Let's take a look back at the Round 1 playoff action from the TSSAA high school football playoffs. We had Cloudland defeating Midway last week by a final score of 56-23. We had Coalfield defeating Jellicoe 56-18. We had Oliver Springs defeating Hancock County 39-0. We had South Green defeating Wartburg Central 44-26. We had Oneida defeating Happy Valley 23-7. Hampton losing a tough one to Rockwood 7-6. Meigs County defeating Sullivan North 48-7. We had Gatlinburg Pittman upsetting number 1 seed Johnson County 36-33. Austin East defeats Chucky Oak 53-23. We have Unicoi County defeating Kingston by a final score 27-20. And no, that's not Kofi Kingston for all you wrestling fans. Alcoa defeating Claiborne 56-0. Greenville defeating East Hamilton by a final score of 54-21. We had Sullivan South defeating Chattanooga Central 39-12. Elizabethton defeating Howard 28-14. We had Anderson County defeating Union County 54-8. We had David Crockett defeating Knox Halls 20-17. South Doyle loses a tough one to Tennessee High 24-17. Daniel Boone defeats Gibbs 32-14. We had Knox Fulton defeating Lenore Central by a final score of 46-15. We have Knox West defeating Knox Catholic by a final score of 34-28. We have Ottawa defeating Hardin Valley 35-28. We have Science Hill defeating Bradley Central 24-21. Maryville defeats Bearden 20-17. Over in the KHSAA Football Playoffs Round 1, Paintsville defeats Bracken County 39-6. Hazard defeats Harlan 35-20. Lynn Camp defeats Phelps 43-0. Pikeville defeats Pineville 49-8. Somerset defeats Eastridge 51-8. Danville defeats Leslie County 48-13. Lexington Central defeats Prestonsburg 46-14. Shelby Valley defeats Middlesboro 41-21. Lexington Catholic defeats Pike Central 58-18. Belfry defeating Girard County 50-8. Breathitt County defeating McCreary Central 7-6. We have Bell County defeating Estill County 61-14. Johnson Central defeating Bourbon County by a final score of 61-14. Johnson Central defeating Bourbon County, 55-7 on that one. Pulaski County defeating Whitley County 61-0. Lincoln County defeating Letcher Central 22-7. Southwestern defeating Perry Central 21-0. And Harlan County defeats South Laurel 39-19. So those are all your high school football playoff scores from across Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia this past weekend. Lots of great action from Northeast Tennessee, Southeast Kentucky. A lot of big teams still alive, including Pikeville, Belfry, Hazard, Harlan County still alive. So a lot of very good teams still alive in the KHSAA playoffs. And, of course, over in the TSSAA playoffs, the big powerhouse is Greenville in 4A. Science Hill remains alive. They'll face off against Maryville this week in their game. So lots of great action there, and lots of great teams still being locally represented in the TSSAA playoffs for this upcoming weekend. So lots of great action to come, ladies and gentlemen. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Go ahead and take a look back at the college football top 25 schedule that took place from this past weekend. On last Thursday night, Central Florida defeating Temple 52-40. They're number 12 Central Florida. Pittsburgh upsets number 25 Virginia 28-14. That was on last Friday night. On Saturday, these scores from Saturday, number 2 Clemson all over Louisville 77-16. Ohio State, number 10, just barely squeaks by Nebraska 36-31. Number 19 Syracuse defeats Wake Forest 41-24. Auburn upsets number 20 Texas A&M 28-24. Number 24 Iowa State defeats Kansas 27-3. Number 6 Georgia defeats number 9 Kentucky 34-17. Number 13 West Virginia squeaks by on a late 2-point conversion over number 17 Texas down in Austin 42-41. We have Purdue upsetting number 16 Iowa 38-36. Penn State is getting drilled as they lose to Michigan 42-7. Number 5 Michigan over number 14 Penn State. Number 22 Boston College defeats Virginia Tech 31-21. Missouri upsets number 11 Florida 38-20. Arizona State upsets number 15 Utah 38-20. We have Notre Dame, number 4, defeating Northwestern 31-21. Notre Dame covers that 10-point spread. We have number 18 Mississippi State defeating Louisiana Tech 48-3. Number 1 Alabama all over number 3 LSU 29-0. Number 7 Oklahoma and the over defeats Texas Tech 51-46. Number 23 Fresno State defeats UNLV 48-23. And number 8 Washington State escapes Cal 19-13. So lots of movement will take place in the upcoming rankings this week. The top teams will remain the same, except LSU will drop out. We will probably see a top 4 that will look like this: Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, and Notre Dame. That will be your top 4. And the reason why I'm putting Michigan ahead of Notre Dame is simply because of this. Michigan has a stronger schedule than what Notre Dame has right now. I know Notre Dame has the head-to-head win over Michigan, but at the same time, you can't deny the quality of talent that Michigan has defeated to maintain their 8-1 record after losing the opener to Notre Dame. So a lot will take place coming up tomorrow night on the college football playoff rankings. That will be in between games of the Champions Classic, which is taking place tomorrow, I believe, in Chicago, Illinois, as it'll be number 10 Michigan State taking on number 1 Kansas, and then after that it'll be the college football playoff top 25 rankings show. And then in the second game of the doubleheader, of course, a lot of interest around here, as it'll be number 4 Kentucky taking on number 2 Duke. So it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night, and we'll see what takes place there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NFL action from this past weekend. On Thursday night, we had in a garbage game, and I'll say that to my grave. I don't care what people say. San Francisco defeats Oakland 34-3. On Sunday afternoon, we had Chicago defeating Buffalo 41-9. Kansas City defeating Cleveland 37-21. The Miami Dolphins defeating the New York Jets 13-6. Minnesota defeating Detroit 24-9. Atlanta defeating Washington 38-14. Carolina defeating Tampa Bay 42-28. Pittsburgh defeating Baltimore 23-16. Houston defeating Denver 19-17. The LA Chargers defeating the Seattle Seahawks by a final score of 25-17. We had the LA Rams get their first loss of the season as the New Orleans Saints defeat them 45-35. And the New England Patriots defeat the Green Bay Packers by a final score of 31-17. Of course, coming up on Monday Night Football, it will be the Tennessee Titans taking on the Dallas Cowboys in a matchup of 2, 3, and 4 teams. Coming up on Thursday Night Football this week on NFL Network and Fox, it's a marquee matchup for once for Thursday Night Football. And I'm not afraid to admit that either, because we get a lot of bad Thursday Night Football games. And with the news of Le'Veon Bell coming back, it should be very interesting to see how they play that. I believe he will not play this week simply because it's too short of a week for him to return to game-playing action. He'll probably be back for the following Sunday game. But it will be the Carolina Panthers at 6-2 taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at 5-2-1. Both of those teams entrenched in playoff fights for their division and for wild card spots. Pittsburgh leading their division at 5-2-1, and Carolina is in the top position of the NFC wild card standings at 6-2, and 1 game back of the division leading at New Orleans Saints, who are at 7-1 right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a quick recap of what took place this past weekend in high school football across Southwest Virginia. TSSAA Playoffs Round 1. And the KHSAA Playoffs Round 1. Say that 5 times fast. The NCAA Football Top 25 schedule from last week. And the NFL action from this week, excluding Monday Night Football, which takes place tonight. Of course, this past Friday was the Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia. And it was a, how can I put this lightly? A crap show. I mean, I'm just being honest here. It was a crap show. They had this great concept of a World Cup tournament, and then the ending of Shane McMahon winning the World Cup was just an absolute disgrace. And then you have a tournament style, like I said, with the World Cup. Then you have Brock Lesnar squashing the biggest force in the company right now, Braun Strowman, who should be the Universal Champion 2 times over by now. But no, we've got to put it on Brock Lesnar, a man who's never there. A man who never defends his championship. A man who defends his championship 1 time out of 3 months. And it's getting really old. And a lot of the fans are not going to be patient with this. I get it. WWE wants the UFC against WWE. They want that storyline with Brock Lesnar going in as the Universal Champion against Daniel Cormier. But by goodness, the champion has to be there to defend the championship. And it's a shame to all of these full-time wrestlers on the Raw roster that they don't even have a world championship to go after. It's a joke. Quite frankly, it's a joke. I know a lot of people probably agree with me on that. A lot of people are Brock Lesnar fans, including my brother, and I respect him for that. But at the same time, we all know that the Universal Champion of Monday Night Raw, who is the world champion of that brand, should be there full time. Period. Flat out. So there's my thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen. Crown Jewel was a crap show. There was only a few good matches. The New Day and the Bar had a great tag team match. The Bar retaining the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Several good matches in the tournament. Kurt Angle defeating, or Dolph Ziggler defeating Kurt Angle. You also had The Miz defeating Jeff Hardy. You had Rey Mysterio defeating Randy Orton. And you had Seth Rollins winning his first round matchup against Bobby Lashley. In the semifinals, you had Dolph Ziggler defeat Seth Rollins on the Raw side of things, and on the SmackDown side of things, you had The Miz defeat Rey Mysterio. And then you had a heel versus heel dynamic in the finals of the World Cup. And it was going to be The Miz against Dolph Ziggler, but both men were injured. Dolph Ziggler decided to compete. The Miz did not. Shane McMahon goes in there to replace Miz. And The Miz is your winner of the World Cup tournament. The WWE Championship was on the line between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. That's all you need to hear about that. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. There's no two better wrestlers on the SmackDown roster, in my opinion, than those two, with the exception of Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and a few others. But those two put on a wrestling clinic, and if anything, that should have been the main world title match on the show. But whenever Brock Lesnar is on the show, he is going to be the main event more than likely. And that's the case, and that's forever going to be the case. So those are my thoughts on Crown Jewel. Of course, you had DX against the Brothers of Destruction. That never disappointed. That was the first time those two teams had ever fought in a tag team match, believe it or not, in 21 years. And DX picks up the victory, but at a cost. Triple H tears his pectoral muscle in the match on a choke slam bump from Kane through the announce table, and he will be out of action for at least 4 months with a torn pectoral muscle. Hopefully he'll be back in time for WrestleMania, but if not, it's going to be a huge blow to the company, who are looking to build off the momentum of this event at Crown Jewel and looking towards the Survivor Series. Of course, Monday Night Raw is being taped tonight overseas in Manchester, England. They just finished up the tapings about 30 minutes ago, and there is some breaking news on that. I'm not going to get into it on this video because it does contain spoilers, so I'll not say what happens, but be surprised for a change tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Say on that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition of the ET Considers Everything Sports Show for Monday, November 5th, 2018. If y'all don't mind, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at BubbaTie1. Also, the VHSL High School Football Playoffs begin this weekend in Region 1D. It'll be number 8 seed Eastside taking on number 1 Chilhowie. Number 7, Honaker taking on number 2, Patrick Henry. Number 3 seed, J.I. Burton taking on number 6 seed, Holston. And number 4 seed, Thomas Walker taking on number 5 seed, Grundy. Over on the Region 2D side of things, it will be number 8 seed, Central taking on number 1 seed, Ridgeview. Number 7 seed, John Battle taking on number 7 seed, Union. Number 3 seed, Graham taking on number 6 seed, Virginia High. And number 4 seed, Grayson County taking on number 5 seed, Richland. So there's a quick look at the VHSL Region 1D and 2D playoff matchups coming up for this weekend. We'll have a bigger grasp on things to come coming up here on Thursday night with Pigskin Picks. Of course, Friday, the game broadcast on 92.5 WLSD. It will be number 7 seed, John Battle taking on number 2 seed, Union in the first round of the Region 2D playoffs. And then on Saturday afternoon at 1:30, it will be the number 6 seed Holston Cavaliers traveling up to Lawson Fitchco Stadium to take on the number 3 seed J.I. Burton Raiders. Kickoff for that game will be at 1:30 p.m. with pregame beginning at around 1 p.m. Join Steve Williams and Aaron Collier for the call on that one. Hopefully I'll be there as well, and we'll keep an eye on all that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to step out. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see y'all down the road. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching, and good night.